my top 5 most versatile characters in Genshin. You might be wondering, what does versatile mean? So let us first define it. According to Google, being versatile is defined as being able to adapt or be adapted to different functions or activities. In the case of Genshin, let's define a versatile character as someone who can be used and fit on multiple teams. You're likely to see these characters extremely often just because their kits and sometimes elements are just so good to pass up. So, this is my top 5 most versatile characters in Genshin Impact. Please note that while I will attempt to justify each of my picks with facts as well as my own experiences, this is ultimately still my own list. If you have another character that you think deserves to be on this list, feel free to let me know in the comments below. Before we continue the video, can I just say a huge thank you to everyone for helping me to reach 400 subscribers. I really appreciate each and every one of you for helping me to get yet another step closer to my goal of 1000 subscribers. If you haven't subscribed, do consider subscribing as I post regular Genshin Impact videos, and it would be great if you could be here to enjoy them as they release. Thank you in advance. Without further ado, my name is ChargeCoin, and let's begin the video. Number 5 on my list is Zhongli. To make him work, all you have to do is hold your E skill, and you will generate a shield for your team with its strength based on Zhongli's max HP with 150% damage absorption for the shield. The shield will also decrease the physical and elemental resistance of enemies nearby by 20%. Zhongli is my 5th pick because no matter how much Hoyoverse tries to nerf shielding by introducing enemies such as the Rift Hounds or the Knights that can either deal bleed damage through shields or generate a shield for themselves if they hit a character with a shield respectively. That said, the value that Zhongli's shield provides is just too good. The resistance to interruption allows characters to hit their attacks a lot more easily, thereby dealing more damage and ending the fight quicker. What's more, the resistance drop of enemies from Zhongli's shield also further helps your characters to deal even more damage. As such, it really isn't a surprise to see Zhongli on many teams, even if you have a healer. But ultimately, it is a fact that shielding is now less viable since MiHoYo is adding enemies that can go through the shield, such as the aforementioned Rift Hounds and Knights. For the Dendro reaction, bloom damage to your character also goes through shielding, which will require you to get a healer instead. That said, Zhongli is still a very versatile character and hence deserves to be on my list at number 5. For number 4 on my list, we have Xingqiu. As I mentioned in the best character of every element video, Hydro is one of the most versatile elements as it is the only element to react with every other element in the game to trigger extremely strong reactions such as Vaporize, Freeze, and Bloom. As such, it makes Hydro characters extremely versatile to be on most teams. I once again chose Xingqiu instead of Yelan because he has more utility overall in my opinion. First, his E skill generates rain swords. These rain swords will decrease damage taken by your teammates as well as provide resistance to interruption. If the skill expires and you still have rain swords remaining, it can even heal based on 6% of Xingqiu's max HP. This is in particular very beneficial for characters such as Hu Tao, as she would like some healing, but not so much that it takes her way above 50%. Moreover, his main selling point is his elemental burst, which is easy to activate by other characters using normal attacks. Nahida, Hu Tao, and Yoimiya to name a few. The Hydro application is also high, unlike Yelan who requires C2. However, it cannot be denied that since Yelan's kit is so similar to Xingqiu's, Xingqiu has started to appear less on many teams since people may opt to use Yelan instead for higher damage. That said, for his utility from his E skill, burst, strong Hydro applications, and ability to trigger Hydro related reactions, it makes Xingqiu my number 4 pick for the most versatile characters. For number 3, we have Nahida. I'm a really huge advocate for Nahida because Dendro reactions are extremely strong right now. What's more, Dendro has made previously less viable characters such as Kuki Shinobu, Yae, and Toma viable, which allows for a lot more unique types of teams with unique characters being created. What's more, Dendro allows for the sprouting of teams that are so unconventional that I'm not even sure how people think about them. 2 examples are the Nahida national team and this very weird Ganyu burning melt team with Ganyu, Nahida, Kazuha, and Bennett, where the burning reaction allows Ganyu to melt more than once for huge damage. The core of Dendro reactions, haha, see what I did there? Nahida, being the Dendro Archon, is also the queen of Dendro, and hence also the queen of versatility for Dendro related teams. Her kit works like this. Her E skill is extremely strong with a short cooldown to apply Dendro easily and consistently to multiple enemies, even those far away. The Seed of Skandha that is applied by Nahida then gets triggered whenever a Dendro related reaction occurs, dealing Dendro damage to all linked enemies and reapplying Dendro, thereby allowing for even more Dendro related reactions. The Seed of Skandha also lasts for very long, for about 25 seconds, which makes her a lot more viable for more characters. One such example is Cyno, whose burst lasts for 18 seconds, which makes it such that a lot of other characters cannot support him for that amount of time. Due to Nahida's awesome kit, and the current state of Dendro reactions, which allows her to fit on multiple teams wanting to capitalize on the Dendro reactions, it makes Nahida extremely versatile and easily my number 3 pick for my most versatile characters. For our number 2 spot, we have the Raiden Shogun. For Raiden's E skill, it is extremely strong such that it buffs your party's attack, as well as launching a coordinated electro AoE attack at where your active character attacks. While the attack buff is good, that is not the main reason for her strength. Her E skill lasts for 25 seconds, and the coordinated attack allows for extremely easy electro related reactions. For example, Superconduct with Eula, Overloaded for Yoimiya, and Spread for Tainari. What makes her even more versatile is of course her elemental burst. You will almost always want burst energy for the team, so that characters can overall deal more damage. That said, you will even want burst energy for characters like Yoimiya, who may use the Shimenawa set, as it takes away 25% of her burst whenever she uses her skill. If she has no energy, Yoimiya does not receive the artifact set's attack buff. As such, this energy regeneration is still very important. Raiden can do this through her burst by recharging energy for herself and her team. What's more, if you need a DPS, she can also be a damage dealer with her burst, dealing ridiculous amounts of damage to clear enemies extremely quickly. Because of how easily her E skill can trigger many different electro related reactions, and how her burst just brings out so much value in terms of DPS and energy recharge to the team, Raiden earns my number 2 spot for my most versatile characters. Before we move on to my number 1 pick, let me first share some of my honourable mentions. Firstly, since I mentioned Xingqiu, Yelang comes very close as well. She shares almost all of the same traits as Xingqiu, just that she's a 5-star, which makes her a lot harder to obtain and not as many people would own her. Her Hydro application is also not as strong unless you have C2, which hence puts her on my honourable mentions. Second, we have Fischl. Fischl is similar to Raiden in that if you have Fischl C6, Oz will also launch a coordinated electro attack with your active character, which allows Fischl to replace Raiden in teams, especially in the Spiral Abyss, where Raiden is needed on another team. However, as Oz has limited range, and you need C6 for Fischl, Fischl is hence put in my honourable mentions. For the number 1 spot, we have Bennett. I think you all saw this coming, but first let me explain his kit. Firstly, for his E skill, it honestly isn't extraordinary by any means when looking at it alone. However, when you take into account that when you press his E skill, it only has a short 5-second cooldown, or 4 seconds with his first talent unlocked, or an extremely fast 2-second cooldown when he uses it in his own burst, it means that you can use his skill multiple times within seconds. As such, by giving him an energy recharge weapon and sands, you can take advantage of the short cooldowns and use him to generate large number of energy particles for himself and his team. What happens is that now, not only does he recharge his own burst fast, he can also help to recharge his teammates too. All you need to do is switch to the character that you need the energy for them to collect the particles, and you can recharge their energy. His biggest trait of course is his elemental burst, which provides for an attack buff and healing. The attack buff allows for a massive damage increase, and is only one of the few characters in the game that can do so, which earns Bennett a spot on almost every Nuke Showcase team, or if you just want to deal more damage in general. What's ridiculous is that on top of the attack buff, his healing is also no laughing matter, healing your character extremely quickly if your character is below 70% health. Bennett's only downside is that when he's at C0, his burst will either heal a character to 70%, or if they already have 70% and above health, then it will buff your character. This is however easily mitigated with an easily obtainable C1 since he's a 4-star character. Additionally, as characters in Fontaine are likely to follow the Hydro Resonance, which increases characters' max HP by 25%, it is likely that characters in Fontaine will scale off HP, like Yelan for example, for their damage. As such, this may make Bennett's attack buff a lot less significant in future patches and for future teams. But since he provides so much value from his attack buff and healing from his burst, and can provide fast energy regeneration for himself and his teammates using his E skill, he becomes a core component to so many of the currently available teams. This makes him my number 1 most versatile character in Genshin Impact. And with that, we've come to the end of today's video. Did you agree with my picks? What are your top 5 most versatile characters? Let me know down in the comment section below. If you found that today's video helped you out, or you just enjoyed it in general, do consider leaving a like, comment or subscribe, as it will really help out the channel and get me closer to my goal of 1000 subscribers. I make regular Genshin Impact and Honkai Star Rail videos, and I hope that you will be here to watch them as they release. Thank you in advance and bye bye!